With no more basketball left to be played and the offseason being fully underway, it's the perfect time to gather all of our thoughts, analyze the data from last season, and start to put out rankings for where players currently stand amongst their peers at the moment. I started things off with these lists last week, beginning with the point guards, and I've already run through every position except for one, bringing us to today's video, where we'll cap things off with the center position. So if you haven't seen the previous videos in this series, then make sure to go check them out after you watch this one. The center position almost went extinct not too long ago, but the new generation of big men have come through and propelled it back to glory, and this year, for the first time in a long time, the two leading MVP vote getters were both centers. Before we start though, it turns out about 60% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I would also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. Before we get into the top 10, I first want to start off with some honorable mentions that just missed the cut, and the players that fall into this category are Jonas Valanciunas, Jarrett Allen, and Christian Wood. Christian Wood is a player that, for a long time, has been grinding just to get an opportunity at the NBA level, and slowly but surely, he started to prove everyone why he belongs in a rotation in the NBA, but he can also be one of the best players at the position too. Last season with the Rockets, he finally got to start full-time, and it resulted in him putting up about 21 points and 10 rebounds per game, so he could absolutely break into the top 10 in the near future if he keeps it up. Valanciunas is a veteran who always provides reliable play inside, and now in New Orleans, he'll be an upgrade over Steven Adams. Then Jarrett Allen is one of the most promising younger players at the position right now, and his rim protection and rim running make him an ideal modern-day center at this position. Now, to start things off at number 10, and working our way up to the top spot, we have Myles Turner of the Indiana Pacers. Turner's been an interesting prospect to watch develop over the years, and while some areas of his game haven't developed as well as anticipated, the area where he's absolutely excelled and become one of the best in the league is his defense protecting the rim. He led the league in blocks this season. His presence in the middle alters players attacking the rim and makes finishing a lot more difficult, and overall, most defensive metrics exemplify that work by ranking him amongst the best in the league. Offensively, he may not be a dominant scorer, but he can reliably stretch the floor with his three-point shooting, and that's helped the Pacers' offense flow much smoother than the alternative without him on the floor. Next up at number 9, we have Clint Capela of the Atlanta Hawks. When Capela got traded to Atlanta a season ago, many seemingly forgot about him, but this year the Hawks geared up for a deep run, and Capela showed every bit of his value in the postseason. He had to battle defensively, guarding players like Julius Randle, then Joel Embiid, and then Giannis Antetokounmpo in the front courts of his team's matchups, and for the most part, he did a pretty damn good job on 3 of the best players in the league in the front court. He's a great rebounder, he blocks 2 shots per game, ranking as one of the best in the league, and he and Trae Young run a nasty pick and roll together, so he fits perfectly into what Atlanta want to do. Next up at number 8, we have Domantas Sabonis of the Indiana Pacers. Sabonis is an interesting case at the position because with him, it's really a tale of 2 sides of the ball. Offensively, he's got nearly the whole package. As someone who dominates down low in the post with his touch and strength, he rebounds well, his face-up game is top tier, and he's also one of the better passing big men the league has to offer. But defensively, he's a bit of a mess. The Pacers, in terms of net rating, were also, weird enough, better with him off the court, and his struggles defensively are probably at the heart of many of those issues. Unfortunately, the Pacers are in a spot where they currently have 2 very good centers on the same team, and despite their efforts to start both of them in a Twin Towers kind of setup, it's been proven that both Sabonis and Turner play better when they get to play center without the other one on the court. He's a terrific player, but his fit on Indiana is just not as ideal as they would probably like it to be. Up next at number 7, we have Nikola Vucevic of the Chicago Bulls. Vucevic is similar to Sabonis in many ways, but one thing that he absolutely beats him at is scoring from all three levels. Vucevic has developed into a lights-out shooter from deep, making 40% of his threes this season, and he did so while scoring about 23 points per game. Vucevic has a strong post game around the basket. He too is a very good passer as a big man who can initiate offense out of the post. He's a strong rebounder. And had the Bulls traded for him sooner, they may have had a much better finish to the season. Now the Bulls have had a strong offseason so far this year, as they just did, and they'll be ready for a playoff push now, and Vucevic will be one of the players leading the way for them. Up next at number 6, we have one of the fastest risers up this list, being Deandre Ayton of the Phoenix Suns. Ayton was the first pick in the draft just a few years ago, and despite kind of falling under the radar a bit, he emerged in a massive way this postseason. He just had the most efficient scoring postseason a big man has ever had field goal percentage-wise, and his touch around the basket and tendency to get himself in the right place at the right time worked perfectly alongside Chris Paul and Devin Booker as they made a run to the NBA Finals. Defensively, he's intelligent, he's a force at the rim, and he's getting better every year, so he 100% deserves this level of respect amongst his peers at the center position. Next up at number 5, we have Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat. Bam broke out onto the scene as a top-tier big man last year when he was named an All-Star, and this year he was even better top to bottom. Adebayo is one of the best defenders in the entire league, and what makes him stand out is that it's not just because of his work as a rim protector. Bam can easily switch out onto perimeter players and hold his own, he moves his feet incredibly well, and that versatility is something you just don't see very often from someone at his size and at this position. Offensively, he's continually developing as a scorer, he's got great court vision as a passer, and he can even handle the ball and run in transition after he grabs a rebound to push the pace. He didn't have a great showing in the postseason necessarily this year, but I'm confident we'll see a strong bounce-back performance next year from him. Up next at number 4, we have Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz. Gobert is now a 3-time winner of the Defensive Player of the Year award, and when it comes to rim protection, it really doesn't get much better than what he provides. The issue with Gobert, though, is that in the playoffs, he really struggles against smaller ball lineups that space the floor out, and that was the biggest reason that the Jazz lost to the undermanned Clippers in the playoffs this year. The conversation about where he stands tends to be somewhat extreme, but being completely objective, he's one of the best there is at the center position, but I don't think he's in the same tier as the 3 players that I have ranked ahead of him. Up next at number 3, we have Karl-Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Towns is a top-tier center who doesn't get nearly as much attention because of the situation he finds himself on the Wolves. Offensively, he genuinely has the whole package. He's maybe the best shooting big man we've seen in a long time based on his volume of attempts from deep and the efficient rate that he makes them. He can kill you inside and out, and he's a true star of the game. But the Wolves have been in the lottery all but 1 year of his career with him. Defensively, he's improved lately, but he's still not great on that end, and he's not in the absolute top tier of players at center, but he is right there on the edge. Next up at number 2, we start the MVP tier of players, and at this spot we have Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers. Both the MVP winner and the MVP runner-up were centers this year, and unfortunately Embiid was the runner-up, so he comes in at number 2. If it were up to me, I would make Embiid and the player ranked at number 1 as 1A and 1B, because they're truly neck and neck in terms of the talent, and you also can't go wrong with either one. But one did win the MVP award, so I will be objective and put them above Joel Embiid. Embiid is an unstoppable force down low, ranking as the best post scorer by a wide margin on the highest volume of attempts. His face-up game is money in the mid-range, and defensively, he's once again been named to the all-defense team as he's one of the best anchors in the league as well, making him a dominant two-way player. And finally, at number 1 on this list, we have the 2021 MVP, Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. Jokic is a one-man offensive juggernaut who, on top of having every move in the book down pat both inside and out, is the best passing big man we've ever seen. Everything the Nuggets do on offense runs through him, he elevates those around him, and he definitely deserved his MVP this year for his stellar season. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below how you would rank these players. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.